Thank you. So, yes, I'm Arnold Stillman. I founded Poem Technology about 2 years ago. And the problem we were tasked to solve was how to measure the fluid levels in residential oil tanks. The oil industry now guesses at how much oil is in the tank, and when they make their deliveries, they tend to err on the side of conservatism, so they make more deliveries than they necessarily have to. If, for instance, 2 fewer deliveries were made per year, 10% of the tanks in the country, then the industry saves about $150 million a year. Poem Technology makes a module that sits on the tank, and it measures the actual volume of oil in the tank, transmits that up to the web, where it's available for the supplier to gauge how much to send out when they send out their tankers. 10% of the tanks in the U.S. generate a monthly revenue stream to us of $2 million. We intend to charge $2 per tank per month for a residential tank. The $16 per month that you see up there is based on a mix of commercial tanks, which would be charged $30 a month, and residential tanks, which would be charged $2 a month. 50-50 mix generates a $16 a month average fee. These are the actual modules. The one on the left is a pressure-sensitive fluid head type sensor. The one in the middle is based on a magnetic float level sensor. The item on the right is actually how Poem Technology got started. It's a current meter, a current transducer, a unique current transducer that I was asked to develop by a major Japanese company. That company decided not to go forward with the invention, and so I ended up quickly rushing to patent the technology and develop a prototype. When I developed that prototype, I was showing it off at the International Energy and Sustainability Conference at Farmingdale, and one of the oil industry sales distributors, a salesman for that company, came by and I thought took an interest in it. He had no interest in it. He asked me to develop a wireless, inexpensive fluid tank, fluid level monitor. And I said, okay, fine. If you commit to 1,000, I'll make your prototype in a month or so. He said, well, I need 6,000. So he got his prototype about a month and a half later. I founded the company. We have a chief technology officer and web programmer and everything software developer. Tom Canino, who used to be a project manager at Microsoft. We have our sales director here, Wanda Lopez, who's in the audience, worked with me at a military contractor for several years. And Ron Goldman is a strategic advisor. He operates a multi-million-dollar company marketing vein imaging medical devices and barcode scanners. This is a little bit of a cartoon about how the actual device works. It sits on top of the fuel tank, and it connects to the local LAN of the residential facility. It could be the home, it could be a residential tank in the basement of a large apartment building in New York City, say. Transmits the data up to Poem Technology, where we charge for it, store it up in the cloud securely, and then the supplier can schedule their deliveries. In our patent application, in fact, I've mentioned one of the claims is that the module itself could talk to a drone truck, in which case there would be no driver involved in this loop at all. The current sensor, which I have to mention because we still actually do have a prototype of it, is this is a little schematic of how it actually works. But I do have a patent, an international patent pending on that sensor, which is a unique sensor. However, we are not developing or marketing that, so I'm just going to quickly slide by that. The eye-level fluid monitor, however, has some unique advantages. In bold, savings in delivery, efficiency in delivery, which is savings to the oil company. Each delivery not made saves the oil company about $150. Several other benefits are elimination of their estimating techniques, lower insurance premiums. There are EPA requirements on overfill and spills, loss prevention, and emergency deliveries, and so on. What the oil supplier sees is something like this. These are, say, a tank field with the levels shown on a bar graph. If there were a level that was quite low, for instance, on a 50% red, that shows up as an alarm. Efficiency in delivery and efficiency in operations means that for reserve, the x-axis on this graph shows the reserve level in the tank. The standard reserve is set rather high so that there are no runouts. So that means you're going to be making a certain number of deliveries. If you were to set that reserve level at, say, 20% of the tank volume, then you save $150. If you let it go down even further, which our level allows you to do, you save $300 per tank per year. And a question we get often is that the fuel industry is in decline. Well, yes. However, we're profitable at 15,000 tanks, and there are 7.5 million residential oil tanks in America. We have approximately 10,000 tanks in handshake agreements right now to be monitored. We have some OEM partnerships. We make the residential type monitor that you saw. We also have an OEM device that fits into a distributor's gauge, a hardware manufacturer's gauge. We're in partnership agreements with Petrometer, they're a manufacturer. Palisades Fuel has entered into a tentative agreement with us for 1,000 tanks in Westchester. And we have several other partnership agreements pending. Our competition is shown here. And our modules are well below the price point of these other competitive modules. We are easier to install. We provide both Bluetooth, cellular, and wireless connectivity, Wi-Fi connectivity. And we service both residential and commercial tanks. Our 5-year profit and loss projections are based on that $16 a month per tank charge, and that includes, on this graph, a scaling up of production to 1,000 modules per month, up to year 4 when we go to 2,000 modules per month. We're looking for about $1.2 million of financing to basically pay salaries. None of us are working for any salary. We're all working for free right now. And then hiring more engineers, more engineers and programmers. And since we're an actual hardware company, we do have some expenses, outlays in purchasing materials, cost of goods. Our proposed production schedule shows us installing 25 prototypes within, say, a month or so, and then ramping up to 500 units at the end of 2015, and then in 2016, 500 units per month. Right now, to close off, I would like to say that we actually have 2 devices in engineering test beds and 2 other engineering devices for the OEM supplier in their factory undergoing tests right now successfully. Thank you.